Welcome along to another edition of the A-List. When we bring in the A-listers in the building, we've got Ian Stone, known for one of our best presenters, presenting on BT Sport, presenting for Arsenal, numerous podcasts as well, all around football.
When I started watching football in the 70s, it was violent. Chased 3 miles back to Lime Street Station wearing a sheepskin coat because these scousers want to nip my coat. I lost about a stone in weight.
We got a guy who comes on the channel called Julian.
Yeah.
Who claims he used to play in that.
Julian. I know Julian.
You know, do you remember him from playing football? He told us he was some great footballer in this Maccabi league. Yeah. Right? But we've got nothing to evidence it against.
And do you know what? I never saw a great footballer in the Maccabi league. I can tell you that now.
Hi and welcome along to another edition of the A-List. When we bring in the A-listers. And listen, we've got another A-lister today. In the building, we've got Ian Stone.
Yes.
Oh, thanks. I'll clap as well.
I know, it's not really the welcome that you normally get on stage when you're coming on and you're doing all your comedy.
I've had worse. Let me tell you.
Ian Stone.
Who's this? Never seen this bloke. What's he want?
Ian Stone in the building, known for, as one of, Britain's finest comedians, but also known as well for being, one of our best presenters on presenting on BT Sport, presenting for Arsenal, numerous podcasts as well, all around football. Massive Arsenal fan, loves his football as well.
Huge Arsenal fan.
So we had to get you in there. I'm
really touched that you asked me, genuinely, because, I talk about Arsenal with anyone at any time, for any length of time. Although, as I said, my parking runs out in about an hour and a half. And it did cost a fortune, by the way. Have you ever drive round here?
No, we had parking for you, Ian. You could have parked just outside.
Yeah, you could park outside.
It's all right.
How much was it in the end?
It was £252 an hour.
Well, you got
exaggerated.
You got loads of touring coming up, so you'll be all right now.
Yeah, as long as people come, then that'll pay for the parking.
Where are you then? Where are you on that tour?
Where am I touring?
Yeah.
Start off in Leicester next Friday, although this might be out.
Yeah, be out
after that.
Yeah.
Grantham. For reasons I'm not actually totally sure why we're going to Grantham. That is a good face. You're right to have that face. Liverpool, we've got Leeds, we've got Milton Keynes, we've got Brighton, and various points. And the Comedy Store on the 18th of November in London. Oh. And very excited to do a solo show there. Finishing in Birmingham.
Yeah, and we know you've been doing the Edinburgh Fringe, which is that sort of...
It's massive.
Almost like a mecca for every comedian, isn't it?
I absolutely love going there, and I was there again, just got back a few days ago, and had a good time. People came to the show, and it's a show. It's actually, the way I do it is like a free Fringe show. So basically what happens is you invite people in, you say come in, no charge, and then then they give you money on the way out, right? And
how does that work?
I used to do a whole thing about, all right, this is the awkward moment when a Jewish comedian asks a predominantly Scottish audience for money, right? Let's see who blinks first. But essentially what's interesting about it...
Only you could tell that.
Right? But essentially what's interesting is they come in, and some of them know you from Instagram or TikTok or from, they've seen me do stand-up.
You've been a Mock the Week and stuff,
yeah. So some of them know you from that. But the ones who don't know you, about 10 minutes in, they look at you, like, you're really good at this, aren't you? Go, yeah. And then they're delighted, and then they give you cash at the end. And that's that. I can make that work. So I've just been doing that for a month, and it was great. I had a great time.
How many years have you been doing the Edinburgh
33
Fringe?
years. Oh, for Edinburgh, I've done 10 solo shows, and I've been going up there since 1996 was the first time I went up there to do a solo show, and I've been doing stand-up 33 years.
I was 1.
Wow.
You were 1?
Yeah.
Congratulations. Look at you. Look at him with his firm skin and his hope.
No, it's disgusting, isn't it?
Outrageous.
How long have you been doing just comedy? Because I think that's quite a brave... listen, we speak in front of a lot of people at times, but it's completely different.
You mean like stand-up?
Stand-up, to do comedy. How long have you been doing that? Because that's scary to me.
August 14th, 1991 was my first ever gig. Okay. But how long I've been doing comedy? Since my nose grew to this proportion. And since I had to basically find a way of going, it's okay, like me. So I don't know, years, but 33 years professionally.
What made you want to start doing comedy, Ian?
I didn't get the attention I needed from my parents.
Wait, but that's this is going to turn into a therapy.
No, not at all. No, essentially, I need adulation from strangers on a nightly basis. And this is what, I'm just here. I'll be in an empty room talking to myself. I wasn't for you guys. So why did I start? Honestly, my missus, I've been with my missus a long time. I met her in 1984 when you were not born at all, Cecil.
I was it.
You were like 8 or 9 or something. And she said to me, one of the first things she ever said to me was, you should do stand-up comedy. And I didn't think I'm going to do stand-up comedy, but I did think, who is this woman? What's she seen? And 7 years later, what happened was I was an engineer. I was doing like a normal job. Yeah. And then I left that and I went to India to find myself, right? That's what they say. What happens is you get on a plane and 9 hours later you find yourself in India, right? And when I came back, I couldn't get a job. So I started thinking I could do something else, and I did my first gig in 91.
So are you still, that's good, a bit of advice. You still with her?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's good.
She was right then.
Yeah, she was right. No, it does seem that she might have made a decent choice. She listens to my career.
Yeah, so you must listen to her all the time now, because she must say, well, it was my good advice that got you to where you are now. Does she have good advice all the time?
She doesn't have to say it.
No.
No. I mean, listen. You know what? She's a good woman. I'm lucky to have her. And now I don't even argue. I'm really just like every so often she'll take me and go, no, not that way, this way. And I go, what, that way? And she go, yeah. And she's off you go. Thank heavens for her, right? She is the rock to which I cling. And so that's all good. The only thing she didn't advise me was Arsenal. I got there before her.
All right. Well, yeah, I was going to ask you that. That was going to be the next question. How did you get into Arsenal? Always love to know how.
My old man. My old man, like a lot of us.
Yeah.
My old man is a character. All right, he's still alive. My dad. He's 92.
Oh wow, fantastic.
And still the same selfish prick he's always been. and if you come to the show, by the way, you'll see me talking about him. There's quite a big section about him. And he used to go to Tottenham one week and Arsenal the next. Right?
Do you know what? Right, there's a lot of old school Arsenal fans when you speak to them. That is the mad thing. I've spoken to so many
I've never heard this.
Yeah.
Arsenal fans of that generation who said they used to go to Arsenal one week, Spurs the next week.
Why?
Yeah. And why?
Because it's just at that time it was a done thing. It was like they're so close together. So they go out and watch Tottenham one week. They're Arsenal fans, just to keep watching football. I guess.
And that was safe, normal,
acceptable. And you listen, it was my dad went to every. I mean, I know it's mad to say this. My dad, big Arsenal fan, went to every game in the Tottenham double season in 1961, every home game.
Wow.
So I used to go Arsenal one week and Tottenham the next, because you could just wander up. You can't do that now.
Yeah, you could just...
And if you had to have any sort of physical proof that I was going to Tottenham, I wouldn't want it on anywhere near me. But at the time, it was the done thing.
So is it easy just to, was it feasible as well? Because nowadays you can't. It's expensive just to even follow.
No, but in those days football was cheap, and also you could just go up on the went up to the turnstiles and paid on the day.
Yeah. So he would go. I mean, he went.
This is bewildering to me. This is unbelievable.
He went to 3 games in one day. I mean, he loved going to football above everything. I mean, everything, including us. And no. You know, I mean, I tell this story in the tour, but he took him and my mum got married in 1958, and they went to Bournemouth in November, because English seaside towns are lovely in November, as we all know. and the day after, he said to her, I've got a surprise for you. And I don't know what, she's like 20, she thought clothes or jewellery. He took her to Bournemouth against Brentford in the 4th division. Didn't even get her a seat, got her a standing ticket. This is my old man, all right? And there are lots of stories in the tour show about him. As you can, I mean, there's some I'm not even put in. Had a punch up with Jeffrey Boycott in the cricketer.
Jeffrey
told
Boycott.
him he was a boring cricketer, and they ended up having a fight in the long room at Lord's.
Really?
Yeah.
Actual fit,
in the long room at Lord's.
Yeah. Alan Sugar told him to fuck off. He was over the road from Alan Sugar, right? And he goes, Alan, he's screaming across the road, Alan, as he's got out of his limo. And Alan Sugar's like, who's this nutcase? And he comes over and he goes, and he puts his hand out. Alan Sugar shakes his hand. He goes, this is when they got rid of Venables. He goes, well done for getting rid of Venables. You'll always be shit.
Oh my God.
And Alan Sugar went,
Fuck off.
got in his car. Anyway, yeah, that's my
Your
old
dad
man.
sounds like a guy I'd like to meet.
My dad, you know what? Everyone else thinks he's a legend. Everyone else, except for me and my sister.
That sounds like a legend. Tell Alan Sugar that sounds like a legend. That is a legend for me.
Very, very funny. Also, one more while we're on the subject.
Yeah, go.
He was a manager of a team I played in when I'm like 20, 21 years old. Yeah. He made me player of the year, right?
So that winds. I'll be honest. I've been in the team when the manager that winds a lot of players in the team up.
Imagine what I'm sitting there and he goes, player of the year this year is Ian, and everyone went, oh fuck off, come on, and he went, no, he's played really well this year. Bless him.
What position? So you played that? Well, you played football then. So what position?
I played central midfield. In a sort of Jewish Sunday league, and then when I went to a slightly better level, I was playing right back. But I could play. I still play five-a-side.
Is that the Maccabi Haifa League?
Maccabi League.
Yeah, you know what? We got a guy who comes on the channel called Julian.
Yeah,
who claims he used to play in that league.
Yeah, I know Julian.
You know, do you remember him from playing football?
No, I don't.
You don't remember him?
No,
I
don't.
I know he's making it off. You know, he told us he was some great footballer in this Maccabi League. Yeah, right. But we've got nothing to evidence it against.
Do you know what? I never saw a great footballer in the Maccabi League. I can tell you that now. I could play. I had a certain vision. You know, I wasn't really a goal scorer, but I was through. I loved the through ball. I did.
Okay. Did you mention you was at you played for Hendon or was under 20?
I had a trial with Hendon reserves. Yeah. That's as near as I got to anything. Listen,
that's decent level.
I could play. I mean, I have some spatial awareness. I think.
You still do a bit now?
Five-a-side on a Monday night.
Oh, nice,
yeah,
nice.
Absolutely love it.
Nice. So, got into Arsenal, right? And your dad took you along, and then it's just been Arsenal ever since.
Since then, I mean, really, 70, 71 was really the first season. I didn't go to that many games. My first real memory, to be honest, is when we played Ajax in '72, and Johan Cruyff and the rest of them turned up. And I remember Johan Cruyff bringing the ball down in the penalty area in front of the North Bank, and I used to stand behind the goal in the North Bank, and the whole stadium went, whoa, how good is he? Yeah. It was just a beautiful, beautiful moment, and I remember that's really the first memory I have of going. So I was maybe 8 or 9 when that happened.
Oh, brilliant. And going to Arsenal over the years, you then sort of get into punditry and that on Arsenal. How amazing must that have been?
I mean, it's sort of mad, really. You know, because I started doing stand-up, it opens up other possibilities. Yeah. You know, so for instance, I wrote a book about growing up in the 70s called To Be Someone. It's social history, autobiography, and love letter to Paul Weller and the Jam. So I used to follow the Jam a lot. Yep. Saw them at the Rainbow at Finsbury Park, just up the road, loads of times, and then I ended up meeting Weller through writing the book.
Wow.
And those things happen when you do stand-up. In the same way, I had 5 years presenting a radio show on Absolute with Ian Wright. I mean,
I read it. That's
every weekend. Yeah. And listen, we've all met Wright. We all love Wright. He's a legend. He's an icon. But he's also a normal guy.
Yeah.
And my missus said to me, the first show that we did, she could hear the, oh my God, it's Ian Wright. As you are, right? We all are. But honestly, after that, he's just righty.
Yeah.
I'm Stoney, he's righty. It's still one of the biggest thrills of my life to have done that show.
Incredible.
And when he came to the Comedy Store one evening when because we used to do it from 5 till 7 on a Saturday, and he goes, what are you doing tonight? And I said, I'm doing the store. And he said, I'll come along. And he watched me do my thing. And there was something really lovely about, I don't know, he's got some game now. You know, he's looking at me. Obviously, I knew he had some. I watched him score most of 100 and whatever it was. But it was, those things happen, you know, when you, and then to be involved in the Tuesday Club with Al Davis and Keith and how big that got, and now doing Handbrake with Amy Lawrence and James.
These are the podcasts, right?
Yeah. And Adrian.
You do the fighting club as well. You used to be.
I do Fighting Talk. I did Fighting Talk and so all these things just to talk about sport and particularly about Arsenal in a professional capacity and get paid for it. If I'd have said that to 16-year-old me, I'd have gone, "You're joking me. How is that?" And I think we all feel that, right?
Yeah,
to have that connection with the club and feel part of it.
It's incredible.
You know, I mean, I was writing 5 years for the Arsenal magazine. I had a monthly column.
It's unbelievable.
I got taken around the stadium. I mean, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just a dream for me to be involved in any way.
Yeah,
so to be involved in any way is really cool.
Can I ask you then your thoughts on, I guess how it's grown in the space of not just comedy, but just this space. You're on a YouTube, you're on AFTV, say YouTube channel. Like, do you encourage the change of all these things of like podcasts, whether it's, you know, comedy's gone from maybe doing stand-up to on social media and then blowing people up, and then they go back to doing stand-up, but it's very different to the, you know, the original just, I was going to be a comedian doing stand-up. It's kind of blown up in a sense of in different ways.
Well, in it cool. I mean, it's not like, and we don't really have any qualifications, any of us.
So like to admit, Ian, you're giving away my
No, but you know what
we're trying to hide that from people.
You know what I mean? We're reasonably presentable. We scrub up nice, and we can go on these things, and people understand the love that we have, the passion that we have, and they tap into it. You know, when we do the podcast, we get a lot of people from overseas, in America and in Australia, who connect with us. I did a cruise gig a few months ago, right? And we went around the Caribbean for 2 weeks. Very nice.
Very nice.
And when the 23rd, this was 23rd December last year, we played Liverpool away at Anfield. Boat docks at about 7:30. The game is on at 12:30 in American time. I phone up, or I contact Miami Gooners, who are over there. They said, come to the bar.
Guys they are.
Lovely guys. There's 250 of them. Some of them know who I am. They look after me. We get drunk. Then they take me out to Little Havana and we have some food. And then they put me on the plane. Now,
that's incredible.
That's family, right?
That's incredible.
Yeah. This is what we're talking about.
That's incredible.
So what do I think of this? I think it's great that the gatekeepers are us. You know, we've all got our own Instagram and TikTok accounts, and it's our TV channel. And I think that's beautiful. And the fact that a podcast that me, Alan Davis and Keith and Tyler and the rest of them and Damien can just talk shit about Arsenal and have a laugh, and people listen. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it's beautiful, I think. So I love it.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, tell us about your sort of favourite Arsenal teams over the years. What's you know, obviously you've been watching for a very long time. What's your favourite period?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, I have to say, notwithstanding the game that we just watched on Saturday, which I'm sure we'll talk about, this is one of the 2 or 3 favourite periods I've ever had.
Nice.
I mean, look, the Invincibles were amazing. We're watching these incredible players when Patrick Vieira first turned up in whenever 98 against Sheffield Wednesday, and how good he was. Seeing Henry for the first time, seeing Dennis for the first time, and then my first one was Liam Brady. Really, he was the one for me. Charlie George, I was a little young for that. I appreciate. I've seen it on the TV a million times, but really that late 70s team that got to cup finals. Liam Brady was such a favourite of mine, and my son, my youngest, plays football, and he's left-footed. And there was a point when he was about 7 years old when he struck the ball, and it just took me right back to Liam Brady. So really, that team. I love that team with Stapleton and David O'Leary and all that lot, the Irish connection. 89, obviously.
Of course.
Obviously. It was like
Thomas.
an out-of-body experience. I was at a mate's watching it, and so obviously that period. Invincibles, just because they were the best team, one of the best teams I've ever seen. But the reason that this one resonates with me is because we're part of it in a way. When it was the Invincibles, I always liken it to going to see like Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah,
right?
they're like superheroes.
You're watching them. We turn up there and go, "How many do you think we get today?" Do you know what I mean?
I remember those days, right? You used to go every game thinking, we got this, we got this. You never, you know, like sometimes you go to a game nowadays, right? You go, I'll take a draw, you know.
Well,
you never said that in those days.
Never said that with the Invincibles. Whereas this lot, I sort of feel like they need us, and there's a real relationship between the fans and the players. Listen, I don't know. I'm a bit of a romantic anyway, and I get quite emotional watching anything, adverts, anything. To be honest with you, oh, Dad's crying again. Yeah, all right. It's a great advert. I like these toilet tissues. All right, but honestly, watching this team, it gets me emotional because they're young and they need our help, and we try and give it to them. I think it's a really amazing thing. What's that?
And Mikel Arteta, when he first came in, remember, that was one of the things he said, I want to bring the team and the fans closer, because there was, after the whole, when Arsene Wenger left and, towards the end, we all know it all went a bit sour.
It did.
And then, Unai came in and Freddie. Yeah. But the connection was gone, weren't it? It was gone.
Well,
but he's brought it back, hasn't he?
Yeah. There were moments, I think, with Unai. I mean, I remember might have been Tottenham at home, and when Lucas Torreira
scored. The 4-2,
yeah, and we've got our Arsenal back. I remember singing that. And it was great. Don't get me wrong. I felt really good. Beating Tottenham's always good. Yeah. But now we know. Yeah. Now we know. This is as close a connection as we've had. If you put aside the Invincibles, I think it's as close a connection we've had since that late 80s team.
Yeah, you've got a great point, because even when I was at the game on Saturday, right, and we're singing North London Forever, I'm like, we never used to really have an anthem, did we? And now we've got an anthem.
Yeah.
So even little things like that.
And people are buying into it. The players are buying into it. You see Calafiori this week, and he was singing it.
I saw that.
That's
Jesus was singing it one time.
I know. Second language, and it's an anthem, and they're like, no, this is part of the identity.
Yeah, I love it.
And the Amazon doc, I mean, I didn't watch the Amazon doc, I'll be honest.
Well, yeah.
Because the Amazon doc came out the season after, and I was into that. Yeah. And I didn't want to
go back to
annoying myself with that. What happened at the end of that season? Fair. Even though, can I just say, finishing 5th, I think was the best thing that could have happened to that team.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because Europa League is a place where you can put in new players and young players and try them out. Whereas if we'd have got in the Champions League that year, I think it would have been like Newcastle last year, just a bit too much for us. Whereas the way we got in the Champions League for last season, we were ready, right? I mean, obviously it didn't quite work out in Munich and everything, but we were ready, whereas the season before, I didn't think we were quite ready. So as much as horrible as it was...
Yeah, it was painful.
It was painful. I think it might have been good to have another season just waiting.
Good shout.
Listen, I mean, I've got a mate, Sean, who we talk about... I go around his place and we talk about football all the time. and he was saying that to me, and I thought, I agree with that.
I'll be honest, it's a perspective that I didn't really consider, but...
No, that's a good point. And the younger players get a chance to play more football, and
well, you can put them in against Europa League teams, but Champions League, you need your first teamers in there, and we just didn't have a big enough squad. We had a strong team, but we didn't have a big enough squad to cope with the twin demands. And look, we were in the Champions League and the Premier League last year, and we didn't quite get over the line, and we've strengthened again because he's looking at it, gone, we need another 2 or 3. So. Yeah, I think it's a long-term project. Yeah. I don't think Mikel's going anywhere. I know he hasn't signed a contract, but why would he? So I feel like, okay, this season, next season, season after.
When he first came in, Mikel Arteta, what were your thoughts? When we first went and got him? Because
I thought it was too young. Okay. I thought it was too young. We forget it's his first gig.
Yeah.
It's his first gig. He hasn't had a single...
First stand-up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how you... But it is.
The equivalent, yeah.
I mean, look, obviously he worked with Guardiola, he's worked with some great managers, with Arsene Wenger, with David Moyes, but it's the first time he's managed a team. And last year he went up against Klopp and Guardiola. Yeah. People have been doing it for 20 years, and he was right with them. Yeah. And I don't think people have quite realised how good he is, but when he first came in, and certainly a year in when it was all going a bit wobbly... when we lost at home to Burnley in front of... I was there. We went... It was November. It was like the first year of the COVID. And I've told this story, but I remember being there. You had to wear a mask. My glasses kept steaming up, right? There was only 2,000 people in the stadium. You could hear the air conditioning, right, go round. And then Ashley Barnes scored and celebrated in front of us. And I'm all wet. And I thought, what am I doing here? Why have I come back here? Granit got sent off. Yep. And it was we lost 6 games in a row at home. And people say, well, if that would have been in front of a crowd, Mikel might not have survived, but it wasn't, so he didn't have all that angst. And I like the way that the owners have backed him.
Yep.
Well, he went on that season to win the FA Cup, yeah.
Well, he won the FA Cup first season, and that was great, but it still could have gone wrong, couldn't it?
Yeah.
So right. I think he had a bit of luck in terms of when COVID happened and what did I think? I mean, I'm like most people. I wasn't sure he was the guy for the job, but I'm fully on board.
So do you think it's ludicrous if because as fans already even asking me and speaking to me about, if he doesn't win a trophy this season, is it time to look for a new manager, do you think? Or do you think that's just crazy thinking? Or would you agree with that, you know, thought path?
I think it's crazy. I think we've got to enjoy the journey, right? I mean, there's only 4 trophies available, right? We're up against, you know, money grabbing, cheating bastards FC. What?
Best way to put
Straight to the point, Joey.
Well, you know what I mean? So what chance, you know, you can't just be talking about trophies.
You know, you're not getting an Oasis ticket now, you know what I mean? After that.
I tried, actually. But no. No, you know what? You understand the point, right?
Yeah.
And so if we just say, oh, it's trophies, or he's got to go, that's just mad thinking. It is. And I find it a little annoying when you see that on Twitter. I know social media is mad, but it's crazy. But no, the journey is what's important. And hopefully it will lead to trophies. Yeah. And I'd love to see a trophy this year. It would be absolutely brilliant. I'd just love to see them get some reward for what they've done 100%. The last few seasons, because they've been brilliant the last few seasons.
They've been brilliant.
You know, I mean, last year... Yeah, you know, we won 16, drew 1 and lost 1 of the last 18 games. That's an unbelievable run. How many Arsenal teams have ever been on a run like that, including the Invincibles?
Yeah.
So, you know, the fact that we're up against this, I mean, they're a machine. Don't get me wrong, they're an amazing team. And so we have to be almost perfect, which is why Saturday felt so annoying. Because it felt like Fulham season before, but, you know, it is what it is.
Let me get your opinion on that, as a fan that's been going to watch football for a long, long time. Now, lots of changes in football in recent years, VAR, all that. What did you make of that sending off of Declan Rice?
Ludicrous. I mean, yeah, he kicked the ball away like 2 millimetres or something. He did. Of course he did. We saw that he did. But honestly, any sensible referee, you know the Champions League referees would have gone, Declan, you're on a booking. Don't do that, all right? Don't do that.
Common sense.
Common sense, mate, all right? I saw what you did. Also, you got a kick for your troubles, and I appreciate that. But that bloke wanted to send him off, and it was all a bit ridiculous. And I agree with Mikel, amazed, because I saw what João Pedro did in the first half. He kicked the ball away.
Yeah.
Well, then that's a booking. Also, by the way, Thomas Partey got a booking for pulling someone. Their bloke didn't get a booking for pulling Bukayo in the first half. So the inconsistency. We've been talking about inconsistencies since I first started going. But I thought it was unbelievably soft. Yeah. Do I think there is a conspiracy against Arsenal? Of course there is.
I was going to say, are you going to join that long list?
Of course there is.
You know
they hate us. You know PGML, honestly, they go to Tottenham.
And you believe this? This is not.
PGML go to Tottenham Christmas party every year. Do you know that? They're getting like treats. No, of course I don't believe it. It's nonsense.
Hey, you know what, right? I'm always I'm not with this conspiracy thing. But when a guy said to me, right, on Saturday, he goes, Robbie, why are they always trying out all these things with us? He goes, remember that time with Martinelli when he got the 2 yellow cards for the
Tommy Yasu, the time when he wasted time for half a millisecond.
Yeah, right. He goes. That time he goes with Martinelli, he goes, I've never seen that before.
No.
And I've never seen it since.
No, of course.
And he goes, this one that we just saw there, he goes, I bet you we won't see that again.
It's unlikely. Look, I mean,
I'm starting to jump on the conspiracy bandwagon.
So you're and Tight. You're on the.
I'm starting to.
You're just honestly, you're driving yourself mad that way. I don't think there's a conspiracy, but I do think we're on the end of some really wrong decisions, and I felt that was another one.
They're stacking up now, man. They're stacking up.
Let's do this again in 6 months' time, all right?
There'll be about another 3.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Seriously, because I just couldn't get my head around that. It was
ridiculous. It was a stupid one. And it cost us the game probably. But at the same time, we had chances to win it as well.
Yeah.
And I thought the first 15, 20 minutes we played well, and I thought the 15 or 20 after the sending off, I think we were really rocky. And I was talking about this on the Handbrake podcast this morning. We watched the Arsenal team with Tony Adams and that lot. When they had a man sent off, it was almost like an occupational hazard for them. They were like, well, you know what? We practiced this. We know what to do. Yeah. You get in here, keep it all tight. And they didn't, they went a bit wobbly.
Took about 10, 15 minutes. Yeah.
They did. They could have got let in another goal. So I think getting a draw was creditable. The only problem is anytime you drop points, it feels like you're grieving because you know it's going to be so hard against City.
Yeah, that is a good point what he mentions though, what he says there. I think back in the day, teams, because I feel like cards are given out, even still tackles are more physical, but you prepare for going down to 10 men. This Arsenal side, since Mikel's kind of revitalised the team, got his players in, their actual disciplinary record is really good. So they probably don't prepare for, well, in case this happens, we do this. It does take a bit of time.
I'm sure they do prepare for it, but they just look nervy.
They did. They took a bit of time to adjust, because we've seen other teams like City. Sometimes when they go down 10 men, they can still keep it moving, keep it flowing, but. It is what it is. It is what it is.
I think it's because Brighton are a good side as well. I think they're
one of the worst teams to go up against.
Yeah, and they're very good at keeping the ball and very good out wide.
They're a good team, and you know what? With 10 players for the best part, 40 minutes in the second half. I think a draw is not the worst result, considering at 1-1 I thought we're going to lose this game.
Yeah.
So in the end they pulled themselves together, and it's a shame they couldn't nick it down the other end. But on we go.
But you worry, because you likened it to the Fulham game, and so do I. Do you not worry that that extra 2 points could matter towards the end of the season, or is it just...
I do worry, but you know what? In the end, if we're in contention halfway through the season, having played a lot of difficult games, we got a big chance. So, but I worry about, I mean, like I said, we don't know exactly when this is going out, but I worry about the North London derby in a couple of weeks without Declan Rice in the centre of midfield. But game at a time, these boys are getting... You know what I love about this team as well? There's so many things I love about this team. How they've improved. 8th to 5th to 2nd to strong 2nd. I remember Bukayo Saka being interviewed on Match of the Day after we'd beaten some team, and Martin Keown was asking him, and he was saying how we've been improving since Mikel got there. Yeah. So they'll make improvements. If they go down to 10 again, and I hope it doesn't happen, but obviously with the referees conspiracy, it could happen. Well, if we go down to 10 again, I think they'll react better next time.
Your favourite Arsenal player right now?
Bukayo Saka.
Everyone says that.
Why? Because he's been with us.
Why? There's loads of players
because he's been with us since he's 8.
Yeah.
If we're talking about improvements, this is a guy that has worked so hard on his game. He's getting stronger. He takes so much punishment, and his numbers just go up, and nothing seems to stop him. It's really incredible. Look, obviously there's plenty of people I respect, and I see the work they do. I'm in awe of Bukayo Saka, and he's 23. He's a young guy. Everybody loves him. Everyone at the club said what a lovely person he is. The stick he's taken, the shit he had to put up with after the Euros when he missed the penalty, and all that racist abuse, and how he came back stronger. I absolutely love that kid.
Yeah, true.
That's a good point.
There's a lot of good players.
Yeah.
I mean, I would, if I was feeling particularly emotional, I would like William Saliba to hold me. I would. To hold me. He could just wrap me up in his arms, and I'd be like, William, thank you. It would be handy to have that.
Make Gabriel hold you, probably break your arm.
Gabriel could hurt me. I sort of feel he might do that. But there's all sorts. I really love this team. But Bukayo Saka is star boy for a reason. Right? And remember when, I might have been on AFTV when you asked people, would you like to win the title, but we sell Bukayo beforehand? And everyone went, no, we want to win it with him.
Yeah.
And I remember him watching that video, and he understands the connection we have with him. Well, this is just I feel the same way.
Yeah. Player in the past. The past, favourite player in the past. Past Arsenal player, all-time favourite.
Yeah.
Well, Liam Brady, because it was like that's when I was growing up.
Yeah. He was ahead of his time, Liam Brady, wasn't he?
Liam Brady was just a beautiful player. The pitches weren't all that good, and yet he's just got a lovely way about him. He's scoring away at Tottenham the way he did, and I just love watching him play. I was absolutely gutted when he left. So Liam would be up there, and then some of the boys in the Invincible team, really, Patrick Vieira. What a man.
Yeah.
What a man.
Yeah.
Dennis, just for being brilliant. Pires. There's so many. But Liam Brady would be the one, just because I grew up with him.
Can I ask you about the Champions League? Because you spoke about, Europa League felt right for Arsenal at the time. It gave them experience, and obviously playing the midweek and whatnot, and also been too soon to go straight into Champions League. Your thoughts for Arsenal in Champions League this season? I don't know if you've seen the new format, if you've seen the teams we're playing. We've got Atalanta away, teams like Milan as well, Inter Milan. We've got a few games coming up. How do you think Arsenal fared this season? Because last season, obviously, getting knocked out to Bayern Munich, I think fans were upset, but we kind of, first time back in a long time. It was a close game getting knocked out by Bayern, but this season? Do you feel like they should progress, go further?
Yeah.
Do you have more expectations? Yeah?
Yeah, no, I think. I mean, listen, they're third favourites, aren't they?
Yes, that is true. Yeah, that's what they.
It's Man City, Madrid.
I never go off of that.
Well, I understand the point you're making.
That's the betting done over here in this country. I mean, I'm not sure if we're third favourites.
Well, all right. I mean, look, we're in the mix.
Yeah.
When there was certainly the last 4 or 5 years with the Arsene Wenger reign when we were in it. But it never felt like we'd always mess up. We'd finish second in the group and then go out to the first decent team we played. Last year, I mean, personally, I think that Porto game in the second round was huge to win that penalty shootout and get to the quarter-final, because we were one of the best 8 teams in Europe and we are one of the best 8 teams in Europe, and I think they believe they can go further. And so how do I feel this year? Well, it's a lot of games and it's a cup competition that sooner or later we're going to have to beat Madrid, and that might get quite difficult, or City over 2 games. That's incredibly hard. I mean, listen, we played City twice last year, beating 1-0 at our place and drew 0-0 up there. So we can, but how do I feel? I'm glad that we're in it. I'm glad that we don't have to listen to that Europa League anthem anymore.
Oh, I like that one.
I'm glad. I do love the Champions League. But
do you like this new format? Do you like the new format?
I mean, it's more games, isn't it? It's a few more games. It's 2 extra games. I don't know. It remains to be seen whether it feels. I mean, the Champions League is such a sort of weird competition, because if we're not in it, I don't really watch it until the quarterfinals. And often you feel like you've seen, it's Liverpool against Real Madrid for the 14th time in 16 seasons, or you know what I mean. So there's a little bit of that
again as well. Actually,
well, they have them again. But I think it was a bit more interesting in the past when the champions went in.
Straight
What do I think of the new format? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I can't. I don't know. I'm just glad we're part of it.
I was kind of against it, and actually, when I sort of see how it's all been put together, I'm kind of a fan of it now. I kind of like it. But you are right. Let's see how it all works out. Certainly, it's a lot of games for players to play, though.
It's a lot of games, but you know what? If this keeps the vultures satisfied for a little bit longer, and I don't try again for the European Super League, then I'm happy with that, right? Because that's what they want.
I think this has been bought in to appease them.
It absolutely has. It's 2 more games. It's a couple more million quid each for some of these teams, Barcelona and Real Madrid. I like I say, I'm just glad we're part of it.
I mean, football's changed a lot over the years since you first started watching football. Is it better now, or is it worse?
I mean, that's such a big question, right? I mean, obviously the players are fitter, right? There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt. I mean, I remember being on the bus once. Do you remember Trevor? I think it was Trevor Ross. It was a player who used to play for us, smoking, and I don't think you see that so much anymore. Obviously, we had the drinking.
Chesney smoking in the change room.
That's exactly.
But you don't really see it.
We had the drinking culture. We don't have all that. So the players are definitely fitter. Is it better? I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure I can answer that question.
It's a hard
the football is obviously a high standard, but like I say, go back to what I was talking about 40 minutes ago about Johan Cruyff. I think Johan Cruyff could, he could play now. Some of those Dutch players could play. There's plenty of good players.
There's a lot of people say there's more flair back in the day than there is now. They're saying
because the system.
They're saying that football's very systemised now. Everything's like whereas back in the day, players were expressing themselves more.
100%.
I think there might be something in that. These guys are such amazing athletes, so quite often there's passing backwards and forwards in front of them, and it gets a bit dull to watch sometimes. But like for example, I watched Man United get humiliated yesterday. It still gave me tremendous pleasure. I mean, why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it? It's absolutely brilliant seeing Ten Hag looking like upset on the touchline. That is entertainment as far as I'm concerned. It's still good.
You're right. I think it's hard, isn't it? Because you don't want to be like a traditionalist and be like, but back in my day it was better, because things move on. It's supposed to improve. But there was feelings of when you watched it when you're younger, like me seeing Invincible, like they were superheroes to me. It's just like I can't replicate that now, but you still get that. Sometimes people get that same sort of feeling, but in a different way. The younger generation will be getting that.
I go take my son along. He still loves it. He's still getting the same feelings. And by the way, we can't forget, when I started watching football in the 70s, it was violent. I went to away games in the 70s. I got knocked down by a police horse. I got chased 3 miles back to Lime Street Station wearing a sheepskin coat because these scousers wanted to nick my coat. I lost about a stone in weight running in this coat. I wanted
to introduce it to Stanley, right?
Yeah, all that. I got beaten up in Wolverhampton by these 6 lads out on a piece of waste ground outside Molyneux when I was 15.
What, was that a meet-up or something?
No.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like, isn't it? Yeah.
What happened was that I went to the loo after the game, and when I came out, all the Arsenal fans had gone, and I had to walk back to Wolverhampton Station on my own, right, like some David Attenborough wildlife. Here in Wolverhampton, the young Arsenal fan has been separated from the herd, and these 6 Wolverhampton Wanderers fans surrounded me, and I'll never forget this. One of them, in this broad accent, goes, "Fucking hit him," right? And I started laughing. I'd never been to the Midlands before, and they're punching me. They're going, "Why is he laughing?" And I'm like, "Listen to yourselves, lads." Absolutely hilarious. So it was violent, and the racism as well, right?
It's terrible. I remember going back
shit
into the...
you must have got, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I remember Arsenal fans singing "Spurs are on their way to Auschwitz," right? So that shit as well.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't happen now. It is more family friendly, and I'm glad about that. But what it's missing...
And the grounds as well.
And the grounds are much nicer, right? Yeah. And the toilet facilities are much nicer. But what it's missing sometimes is the edge, the crackle. I remember going to Tottenham away in the League Cup about 10, 12 years ago when Flamini scored a volley.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Away at Spurs, and there was an atmosphere there.
I got hit in the head that night, right? With all the Arsenal fans were tearing off them hoardings.
Yes.
And one of them hit me in the head, cut me.
Well, we were demolishing the stadium ahead of them demolishing the stadium. I thought they should have...
We're not throwing it at your own fans.
No,
they were dropping it down from because they were dropping it down from the top tier, and one of them hit me in the head.
I can only apologise.
That was you.
It was me. No, but I remember that night.
That was a great night.
It was a great night, and there was a real edge to it. I mean, the right sort of hatred, right? Yeah. You don't want anyone hurt, but there was a real electricity to it, and you don't get that so much now. Yeah. You don't, which is why I think people like going away, because there's still that thing, that the fun of it is what you get going away. You don't really get the Emirates.
No.
So there's a load of things that are better now. There is no doubt about that. But I of course I miss some of that stuff from the old days. Of course I do.
The electricity. Let's go into my section of the A-list. This is the activity section. As you're a comedian, we're gonna build an Arsenal funny 11. Don't ask me where this idea came from. I was coming in on today on the train and thinking, let me just think of something that's can associate with a comedian.
Funny 11.
So it could be anything though. Funny looking. If you have a funny story about a player, the comments are going to decide what it is if they want to. Funny looking, funny story, a funny player that wasn't maybe not very good, had a funny moment. Anything. Funny name. We'll start in goal. Who would you? What? Goalkeeper, any Arsenal goalkeeper.
Funniest goalkeeper.
Yeah, I don't know how you pick him as a funny goalkeeper.
Funny goalkeeper.
We had Seaton here quite recently.
Well, really, what I remember most is Manuel Almunia come tearing out of his goal on a number of occasions, and I'm sitting with Al Davis, right, at West Brom away. Yeah. And I can hear him going, "Where are you going, Almunia? Get back in your goal." And it always made me laugh, right? And we were talking about how we should have had him. He should have had like elastic bands keeping him like he couldn't go any further than the 18-yard box.
I like that.
I'm not sure is that funny.
No, I
didn't find it funny at the time.
It wasn't funny when he got beaten his near post in the Champions League final.
It wasn't funny.
Me and my brother were nearly in tears.
It wasn't funny.
But him rushing out is...
all right, that's one. All right.
Yeah, we'll put him in. I was going to say there's a keeper with a chains. There's the chainsaw keeper who had he chased someone with a chainsaw. The goalkeeper.
A chainsaw?
Yeah.
What? An Arsenal keeper?
Yeah.
Who chased someone with a chainsaw?
Yeah, in his garden.
Lehman,
yeah.
I think
Lehman. Mad German. Yeah. Well, Jens was pretty crazy.
Crazy,
right?
It's quite easy doing the goalkeepers because they're quite...
There's a lot of nutty goalkeepers. It's true. Yeah. All right. But Jimmy Rimmer used to leave his teeth in the goal.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Back in the day, Cecil.
That's funny.
Okay. Well, I like the Almunia one though. I do like the rushing out. Okay. Right back.
Funny right backs. I don't know. Are there funny right backs? I mean, I'm not sure I can think of a particularly funny right back. I mean, we haven't had that, man.
Manuel Abui was a bit funny, wasn't he?
Manuel Abui listening to the North Korean coach when he's giving tips. He's giving like coaching to his team, and Manuel Abui is listening in. Even the North Korean coach found it funny, right? I think Manuel Abui. Yeah, pretty funny.
Perfect.
Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. Blame it on the booing. I mean, bless him. Bless. That was a great song.
That's a classic. Let's go to centre back pairings. So
centre back pairings. I mean, there are loads of centre backs who have been absolute shit. Let's be fair. I mean, loads and loads. Igor Stepanovs. What the hell's he doing on a pitch playing for the Arsenal? Schillaci. Segan. Pascal Segan, remember Mikel Silvestre after he could run less than my dad. Mikel Silvestre. We've had a lot of terrible centre. I was at Man United away 6-1 when Stepanovs got done on a number. You there? Yeah. Horrible.
I think Scalani
we've had
the one you just said there is Schillaci. Yeah, I think
a lot of terrible centre halves.
Segan was.
None of them were funny. I never found. But I know what you mean. Not amusing in any way, but funny that we ever
had them. As our centre back.
Left back.
Left back.
Oleg Luzhny, the horse. Come on, the horse. Because remember when he used to go and play with the Ukraine team, and then he'd come back, he'd be full of energy, wouldn't he? You know, what's happened to Oleg, right? And then the injection would wear off. Yeah. Right? I'm just joking. I'm not.
We'll put him in though.
Oleg Luzhny. Slowly the injection would wear off. And no, he's not very good anymore. The horse. That's right. The horse. And we used to have the joke about if he got injured, we'd have to shoot him. That was quite fun.
Oh my God. All right, let's go into midfield then. I haven't put the formation 4-4. Should we do 4-3-3?
Well, I'll tell you what, let's see how many we can think of.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we'll work the formation around the talent that we've got.
Midfielders.
Funny wise. I mean, have there been funny midfielders, particularly? Yeah, I don't know. Actually, that's quite difficult. Funny.
That is, because a lot of them have been quite.
There's been a few suspect midfielders, man.
Like who?
I remember Denilson came in, we was really thinking he was high things of him, Brazilian and that.
Good dancer, though. Right. Do you remember when he scored against Everton, he did the dance?
Yeah, but I remember there used to be a guy next to me going, he ain't Brazilian. You know what I mean? He wears the skills and all that, you know?
I know, but people said that about Gilberto.
They did say that about Gilberto as well.
But you know what? He did his own. Gilberto was brilliant. And he was one of those players, Gilberto, that it was only when he wasn't playing and you thought, why aren't we? We're not playing very well.
Actually, we put him in because the joke was on us.
The joke, I like that.
I
like your thinking there.
Because he was
didn't have any clue.
He was fantastic. You're right. I remember when he was out, everybody's like,
what's happened to us? But what do we know, right? David Dean slept outside his house, didn't he? In order to sign him.
No, that was a story.
He went out there and
the joke was on us.
I think the joke was on us. What about Paul Davis, putting Paul Davis in for punching?
The punch, he's got to go.
9-week ban.
I mean, great player, but when that punch,
I love
that
Paul
was
Davis.
classic.
He used to sit in front of us at the Emirates.
Paul Davis, and you could even throw in a Vieira in there because he punched a fan. And when he was a manager at Palace, he grabbed he pushed a fan. I think that's quite fun. Yeah, he did.
Patrick
Vieira
must have scared the living shit out the fan. Can you imagine?
Yeah, no, he did.
Patrick, I mean,
I don't think you can put Patrick Vieira in the category of being funny.
I think Patrick was one of the most serious players we've ever had. An outstanding footballer as well. What about Ray Parlour then? I mean, generally a funny bloke.
Generally, he's known as funny bloke. He's known as a hilarious guy, and he was the guy who was always cracking the jokes and that in the change rooms.
Yeah, he was the one who did the Berm story, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When they went out and then they came back in. Because they went out for the kickoff. Was it Fulham? Was it? And then Arsene Wenger's in the dressing room. And he's just about to go out. Like they're just finishing the warm up, and they come back in. And Arsene Wenger said, "What are you doing here?" And Ray Parlour goes, "It's a berm." And all the lads started laughing.
Yeah, no, I think we put him in.
That's our three.
Parlour's funny. Parlour's funny, right? I mean, he is.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
And then up front. So we got
up front.
Listen,
up front. Let's go.
I have to put in.
We're going up front now.
Yeah, we're going up front. We're going to go to front three. One of the attackers, just Gervinho, and you can just
is it the hair?
The hairstyle.
Is it the forehead? As we called him.
We have to put Gervinho.
I mean, it was just the hairstyle, wasn't it?
You see, now he'd be all right. He'd just take a trip to Turkey, innit? But that hairline was a bit far back.
It was going quite far back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
And I think when your hairline's going that far back, you don't wear these hairbands and things like that.
Well, I was slightly concerned about taking the piss out of the hair because I thought maybe it's just the way he's got it, and I don't want to be culturally insensitive in any way.
No. We give a pass on it. It was going back pretty.
Gervinho then. Gervinho, I'll never forgive him for the miss in the Bradford semi-final.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely in.
I mean, it's the first time Kolasinac had ever done a decent cross cross. And Gervinho was so stunned, he went, I can't believe the ball's arrived, and he missed it from 2 yards.
Yeah.
Kolasinac was quite funny as well.
We missed Kim Kallstrom as well in the midfield, potentially.
For having a broken back when he signed.
Yes,
yeah,
true.
I know, but I like Gervinho. Gervinho's a good call.
Yeah, we'll put him in. We've got to have more than
I mean,
one
look,
attacker.
Wrighty is one of the funniest people.
One of the funniest people you ever meet.
Ever met in my life.
Yeah, Wrighty's got to be in there.
I mean, I
he was
absolutely
so
love
funny.
Wrighty.
Was he really? I think he's funny.
No,
Is
he's
he really
funny, and then the way he always played it, the way he played football as well. You know,
I've got a joke that I actually can't do on TV. Sorry,
You can do it here though.
I can't do it here. I actually can't. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell it after. You can turn the cameras back on and let me know. But it's a joke that Wrighty told me.
Yeah.
All right. So, but can you just trust me? I don't want to pull rank in any way. Wrighty's one of the funniest people I know. He's really funny, right?
I didn't realise I know he's funny, but I didn't realise he was.
No, he's hilarious, man.
No, he's a proper funny boy.
He is.
Yeah. So we'll have Wrighty, and then after that, have we lost? What's happened? We lost.
One person's put Nicholas Bentner.
Bentner! Good call.
Lord Bentner.
Good
Lord
call.
Bentner could be a
I
great
mean,
shout.
the self-confidence of the guy. Liz Truss levels of self-confidence. He is the Danish Liz Truss. He is.
That's a great way to describe him, the Danish Liz Truss.
He is.
His
No, but you know
confidence
that
is high.
boundless self-confidence that some
Lord
people
Bentner.
have. That when Truss, you go, I wouldn't even leave the house and speak in public again if I fucked up as badly as you. She's out there going, oh yeah, this is what we should do.
Yeah.
Bentner's got that.
And she get paid for it as well.
You what?
And she's getting paid for it as well.
Bentner, when we played, I think it was Orient in the Cup, and Bentner scored in front of the Orient fans and did that.
Crazy.
So the Orient fans are going, Nicholas, come on, mate.
Crazy.
Come on. Bentner's a really good call. Shamak and Sanogo.
Shamak was the one I was actually going to go to until I saw Big Up Production saying.
as we call it.
Yeah. Sanogo's got to be in there. Shamak, the thing is, Shamak, every now and again, he wasn't too bad. Every now and again,
His hair weren't too bad.
glimpses.
That's about it.
hair,
No,
it's the gel.
all
With
that
Sanogo now,
ridiculous,
you know
all
what I mean? He
the
came
bloody-
in, we thought,
No, it didn't
No,
work
I
out.
do like Lord Bentner though. He had like Zlatan Ibrahimovic confidence, but
But not the talent.
Yeah, not the ability.
talent.
That's
And I
true.
also will not forgive him for Barcelona away when he
Yeah.
took a
Thank
touch
you.
because he thinks he's that good. Smack it, mate. Smack it, you know? And so we've got a pretty funny team
I
there.
think that's it.
Actually,
I'll be honest, you smashed this. I thought it was going to take a bit of time.
Arsene Wenger bought quite an array of shit talent, didn't he? Bless him. For a man who knows as much as he does about football, there was a tremendous array.
To be fair, the
of shit coming in and
budget
out.
was starting to run a bit low in them times, you know what I mean? So he
Come on, just play the kids then.
Yeah.
Arsene, why spend £10 million on... Anyway, let's...
Yeah, that's another day. But that is a good funny 11. Let us know if you agree in the comments below about the 11. Give us some names that we might have missed and some stories as well. I always like the stories. That's what this is all about as well. But that was good.
Yeah, we're sort of coming down to the end now. Where are we going to finish this season?
Sorry,
I don't put you on the spot. You know what I mean? Right on you.
That got very serious. Where? I don't know. We're going to get very close. That's what I think.
You think
we're going to get very close. Listen,
Is that second for you then?
No, no. I think
got a chance.
I think we got a big chance. We're really good. I mean, we're really good. Let's face it. We've got outstanding attacking talent. I think Raheem. I'm really pleased about Raheem Sterling.
Me
by the
too.
way.
Me too.
I mean, I really rate him, and because I remember there was talk about him coming to Arsenal maybe 5-6 years ago. And he said he didn't want to come down because he's got a lot of mates down here, and he wouldn't train properly, and he'd get distracted.
It's true.
Whereas and he is a London boy. Let's not forget.
Yep.
So
North
whereas
East London.
now he's got something to prove. I like this. You know, he's angry. He's not happy with the way things are going. He wants to get back in the England squad. He's 29.
Yeah.
He's obviously looked after himself.
Yep.
I remember when City came to us a couple of years ago, and I thought he's brilliant and he's strong.
Yeah,
as
very
well.
strong. Very strong.
So I'm really pleased. I really like Calafiori. Timber is looking great. It's a shame about Mourinho, but you know what? Again, it's a long season. I think we're going to get close. I mean, I actually don't know, but I think we're going to get close, and I think we're going to get close in the Champions League as well. And on top of that, I think we will win one of the other trophies.
Nice.
All right, so that
Perfect way to
sound
end
like a
it.
good season.
I'm happy. I'll take
According
that.
to Ian Stone, people, right?
You know,
But I actually agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
You know, I do think we've got a very good team now, so we should be optimistic.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why not?
You know?
Why not? If we can't be optimistic with this team, when are we going to be optimistic?
Exactly, and it's a very long season. I know that City have started off brilliantly, like a train, but it's a long season, and you know, let's remember, you know, I mean, we started off not brilliantly last season, but then we really grew into the season.
We got a lot of talent,
and we got a hard start. But I think we're going to be good this season. I really do.
I agree. I think we're all in the same mindset. I just want to big up Ian. Thank you so much for coming down so much and keeping it together is his tour. Please go and see him, because if you've laughed along whilst listening to our podcast, so hopefully you've enjoyed as well some of the
serious
talk.
This is the modern way of doing things. We put a link.
I won't even say it. I know you'll put a link there.
Put a link in the description.
And then you go and get tickets and come and say hello. Because I tell you what's lovely, and this is the same in Edinburgh as well, meeting people who've come to the show because they're gooners. And they want to say how much they love the pod. And it really means a lot. I mean, it really means a lot. Obviously, buying tour tickets would mean more. It would mean the same. No, it's really cool. So come and say hello.
No, thank you very much for coming down. Really appreciate it. Ian Stone on the A-list. Apart from the comedy stuff, tell everybody where they can find you on your podcast as well.
Oh, where am I looking? That one. Oh yeah, right in front of me. That camera with the light on. Well, you can listen to Handbrake Off. I do that twice a week for The Athletic with Amy Lawrence and James McNicholas, Art de Roche and Adrian Clark, ex-Arsenal. And I'm gigging. I'm doing the tour and I'm gigging about. I mean, just have a look on the listings on my website, and which we'll put a link up on. And it'll tell you what I'm up to.
All right, thank you very much, Ian Stone. Another edition of the A-List, absolutely brilliant. Also, make sure you can go and check out some of our previous ones, including the brilliant interview with David Seaman that these guys done. That was absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. So listen, thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV for more A-List shows. Thank you.